Peter Alexander, what is one policy you would have done differently over the last 3 years and a half than President Biden?
Week that every president has to cut their own path. What is one policy that you would have done differently over these last 3.5 years than President Biden?
I mean, to be very candid with you, even including Mike Pence, vice presidents are not critical of their presidents. I think that really actually, in terms of the tradition of it and also just going forward, it does not make for a productive and important relationship.
I don't think that's a good message. You got to be like, I'm expanding on I'm building a new pathway for the future or something. You know what I mean? There's a lot I can do, and there's a lot of limitations to the position itself. I think given the constraints of the job is one thing that speaks to why I can't make these changes right now. But the American people will vote for the change that they want to see in me. Like just simply saying that like I'm a VP to Biden and I ride or die with him is so dumb, especially when as Biden's vice president, you were chosen to replace him because he was objectively unpopular.
I've given you that green light with his comments that you can carve your own path. So now that you have this ability to say that to be on your own?
Well, no, going forward, there is no question that I bring my own experiences and my own life experiences.
Is there a policy that stands out to you in particular either?
Sure. I mean, my approach to what we need to do around Medicare covering home health care, born out of my experience.
Oh my gosh, she's trying to do patchwork on the blueprint messaging front. She's trying to hit those hit the positive policies that she saw play well. No, she has said something about Medicare. It's correct. This is a actual policy that is overtly popular. When I first heard it on The View, I said as such. I told you guys the moment that she unveiled that she was going to expand Medicare to at-home care, I was like, that's great. I call balls and strikes, chat. The reason why I keep going back to this blueprint thing is because this verbatim is like straight up everything that I have said for the past couple of months. When she talks about good policies that are progressive, that help people's like material problems, it portrays well, it plays well for the broader electorate. They like it. They're like, I'm hurting here. I'm glad that she's going to address that. That is normal. Okay. That's normal. Of course people are going to be like, yeah, man, why the would I vote for you? Oh, you're going to do something for me? I like that. Now, this isn't even to say that she's going to do any of this. I'm just, at this point, we are so captive to reactionary framing on issues that I'm just like she won't even lie to people, you know? I'm like, lie to the American public, please. Oh, it's very, very, very stupid to not do this. And the things that I hate, small business stuff, like the hyper focus on giving tax cuts to a person that wants to launch a small business, plays very poorly. Who would have thought? And the worst of it all being that she would put an actual Republican in the cabinet. It's like, you're not a Republican. This is not the Republican primary that's happening on November 5th.
Experience of taking care of my mother. My priority on housing, one, because I know what it means.
Like all of the personal anecdotes that she tries to tack onto the policy, I'm sorry, people might get mad at me about this, but like, I think when she talks about the personal anecdotes, it comes across as robotic and insincere. It comes across as inauthentic. Please don't yell at me and tell me that I am like anti-black or anti-woman or whatever. I'm just telling you how I read it. And if I read it and I am susceptible to her framing on the issue because I like the policies that she's talking about, then I suspect that a lot of people that have way more hangups than I do, okay, because I have none. I don't give a f what someone's background is. I only care about what they're saying and what they're going to do. I don't know. I think that is an overt problem with the way that Democrats are perceived. And I think that that is that's another part of the messaging gap, another part of the messaging issue. Bro, she's committing genocide, but you like her policies? My friend, that's neither here nor there. Should I put the hat on? I have a hat for this. I have two different hats. When I'm talking about Kamala Harris's policies and talking about the electoral calculation here, doing the rat race, I'm putting my fucking DC wonk analyst hat on. When I'm talking about the Republican Party, for example, and how far they go, okay, in terms of like messaging a radical agenda that comes across as overtly gross and racist. I'm talking about it from the perspective, not because I agree with the Republican Party at all, nor the Democratic Party as, for that matter, but from the perspective of, will this help them win the election? Do you understand? Do you get it? I don't think you get it, but it's okay. Do you think Kamala is Hillary 2.0, or is she doing something better or worse? I think that Kamala Harris is Hillary 2.0 for sure, but she doesn't have the baggage that Hillary has. So she is, her favorables are better than Hillary Clinton. That much is a certainty. Do you have a hat that you put on when you are talking about an organized militia movement in the third world? Yes, I do. I wear many hats.
Affordable housing and the ability to buy a home. Again, my own experience, my mother saved up, and not until I was a teenager was she able to do it. But also I know that for so many young people who I speak with around our country, the American dream is just really out of reach. So my policy about $25,000 down payment assistance to help them get their foot in the door. The work that I have been doing and will bring to the presidency around emphasizing small businesses as being part of the real.
Oh, shut the fuck up. Never talk about small businesses ever again. Shut up.
America's economy. Those are the experiences and the ideas that I have that are about moving forward and really in being a part of the next generation of leadership in America.
Last one, I know I got.
Ugh, I hate the small business shit, dude. It's so bad. It is so bad. Mr. Zogby's frustration reflects that and an acknowledgement among some Harris campaign operatives that the damage with a small but potentially crucial subset of voters has been done, especially in Michigan. The battleground state has one of the largest Arab and Muslim populations in the country, and those voters signaled long ago that they were angry with Biden administration over the war. The path to victory in a state like Michigan, Harris campaign officials are betting, is through suburban counties that are home to many college-educated and white voters. That includes a slice of more than 296,000 voters who supported Nikki Haley in the state's Republican presidential primary race. Ms. Harris's visits to suburban areas of Michigan and Wisconsin this week underscored where she and her advisors believe she can win. Paul Bless says she's not going to for the same reason she's given nothing to the anti-war movement so far. She wants to be seen as more pro-Israel candidate. The Harris campaign is forfeiting Arab American voters in Michigan and hoping to offset the loss through white suburbanites. The only Democrats who are honest about this are the ones who say there aren't enough Arab Americans in Michigan to tip the scale against her. I don't know if it's accurate, but it's better than pretending she's going to suddenly run an anti-Netanyahu ad 18 days before the election. Yeah. She wants votes from the anti-Zionist protesters out? No, she does not. I don't think you guys understand. She does not. She has openly communicated that if you care about this sort of thing and you want to vote on that basis, you are not a part of the party. I mean, that's it.
He's called me. I have not spoken. I'm going to speak to him probably now.
What are you going to tell him?
Well, look, he's doing a good job. Biden is trying to hold him back. Just so you understand, Biden is far superior to the VP. He's trying to hold him back, and he probably should be doing the opposite, actually. I'm glad that VP decided to do what he had to do, but it's moving along pretty good. Everything's moving along. Yes, you have a...
Yeah, so people are looking at this and going, oh, you should just use this. You should run this ad targeting Arab American voters in Michigan. It's like, I don't think they care, you know? I don't think they care enough. I think that they have made this electoral calculation. I don't know if it will get them across the finish line, but it certainly will not in the next election cycle. Does that make sense? That's the, like, even if they are to win and their chances are looking worse and worse every single day, there's still a likelihood that they will win. Right. But the problem here is that coalition that they're trying to laser in on will inevitably go back to the Republican Party, no matter how aggressive or right wing the Republicans are, as long as the Republican Party maintains messaging discipline and doesn't go as hard as Trump does. That's it. Down to the wire. Every single person that you meet, most likely at a certain point, has heard something that Trump has said that they do not like. And this absolutely includes Trump voters. If you ask Trump voters, like, what do you think about Trump? They'll be like, I don't really like some of the things he says, but he's my guy, right? Like, that's such a common held perspective amongst Trump supporters, okay? That, to me, means that if it's not Donald Trump, someone who might be as charismatic as Donald Trump, that's really, really difficult to find. But if it's someone who doesn't go as far and as beyond as Donald Trump, like, you're going to have a really hard time beating a person like that. Even into recent days, people have spoken with close Biden advisors. They have heard complaints that the president would be in the same spot or better right now had he stayed in the race. One Dem veteran consultant, that's literally insane. Yeah, that's not correct. No, they would not be in the same place. What the fuck are these guys talking about? What are they smoking on? No, he would be like on the national polls, would be fucking minimum 5 points underwater, perhaps maybe even a larger percentage. Like, the only reason why you think that is because you haven't heard his brain. You haven't heard his brain leaking out of his ears on national television in quite some time. And that's why you're like, oh, well, you know, people like him. His approval ratings went up when he dropped out of the race, dog. Like, they hated him so much that they were like, oh, thank God he fucking left. Okay, give me a break. You're so stupid. In mid-September, the Democratic and Research Polling Initiative Blueprint conducted a national poll testing a long series of potential statements Harris could make about herself and Biden. Those that performed best, the polling found, were those that displayed a clear break between her and Biden, while those that performed worse were those that portrayed a future Harris administration as building on the accomplishments of the Biden era. Any mention of Biden, the polling found, led to less support, even if the position it had Harris taking was the same. Even if you're going to lean on the Biden administration's accomplishments, it is best to not admit that it is Joseph Robinette Brandon's accomplishment, because people don't like him. Very, very dumb that the Democratic Party is like, nah, we are Biden. Mike from PA, Harris is completely fumbled by turning to the right and has totally cratered her support among young people and black people. Pathetic and deserved. Please tell me how interested you are in this election in November using a scale from 1 to 10. Share of registered voters responding 9 or 10. We are at 64%. It's lower than Hillary Clinton for black voters, and 18 to 34-year-old voters, 54% to 49%. That is fucked up. Her early surge was entirely with young people and people of color in hopes that she would represent progressive change. Her entire campaign since then has been spitting in the progressive faces, and thus she will lose this data from the right after the dropout proving it. I think overall, I am not as assured in terms of like Kamala Harris's like definite electoral defeat, although I am certainly worried about it. I do think that every day that goes by, I think the likelihood that she will lose gets higher, and that is not good when you have 17 days until the election.